One of the most common objections raised to the deity of Christ is the idea that Jesus never actually claimed to be God, or so the argument goes. Biblically, there are several ways to know that Jesus is God. He accepted worship, possessed all the eternal attributes of God, did things only God can do, and was given titles of deity. After his arrest, Jesus was brought before the Sanhedrin, the Jewish court. The high priest asked, "Are you the Messiah, the Son of the Blessed One?" Jesus replied, "I am, and all of you will see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of the power, and coming with the clouds of heaven." With modern eyes, it looks as if Jesus is simply claiming to be a Son of Man, not God himself. But with biblical context, Jesus was making a reference to a prophecy in the book of Daniel. This not only identified him as the Son of Man predicted in chapter 7, but the eternal sovereign Lord of all, who will return to judge the very court in which he now stood trial. Still indifferent. It wasn't to the biblically literate Jews who heard him make these claims. In fact, Jesus' claim to be God was considered blasphemy, and according to Leviticus 24:16, blasphemy was punishable by death. The high priest acknowledged his understanding of this by tearing his robes and calling for Jesus' execution. One day, Jesus was walking around the temple and was surrounded by some Jews who wanted to know if he was the Messiah. After identifying God the Father as greater than all, he said, "The Father and I are one." Simply reading, this could look like Jesus was simply saying that he and God had some kind of special connection, that they were really in sync. But when seen through the eyes of ancient Jews, Jesus was actually claiming to be of the same essence and nature as God himself. We only need to look at the reaction of the Jews to know that they understood what Jesus was saying. They immediately picked up stones to stone him for blasphemy, saying, "Because you, a mere man, claim to be God." Claim number 3, pre-existence. They asked Jesus in verse 53, "Who do you think you are?" To this Jesus answered, "Truly, truly, I say to you, before Abraham was, I am." I am. This is Jesus' most explicit claim to deity. The Jews understood exactly what he was claiming and once again pick up stones to kill him. 3 times he claimed